That boy ain't right. That's what I was always told when you see a face like that. Like, no, you don't mess with crazy. Like, you never, bully or, mess with crazy. Because that facial expression from Estarossa was literally the embodiment of, you don't mess with that man. He's off his, rockers. So, can we just, can we talk about that final page? Like, he literally called himself the Great Meliodas. Like, what? That was a pretty big twist. I did not see that one coming at all. There's so many ways to take that final part of the chapter, and I don't really know. Nakama-sensei has a lot of paths laid out before him he can take. He can either go down the path and say that Estarossa is just so crazy he wants to become Meliodas. He could go down the path and saying that maybe Estarossa is a part of Meliodas. He's like some form of like split off from Meliodas, like maybe his personalities that were just formed together to create him. There's many ways for this story to go right now because of that final twist, and I'm just curious exactly what it is. I mean, looking at the way the chapter is structured, it looks like Estarossa, he's crazy. Like, it legit looks like the man is insane. I mean, he was absorbing the commandment, and then you saw how his facial expression, the way he was acting towards, the two archangels, it was just unnerving. It was pretty freaking scary seeing his reaction. He was definitely not acting the exact same way he's been acting, because he's been cocky, yes, and he was cocky in that moment, but it was a different type of Estarossa. Estarossa was always, just acting stubborn, cocky, arrogant, and all of that. But when he was in that, he just looked like a demon. I mean, I know that he is a demon, but I mean, he looked scary, like something you would see in a horror story type of demon. That's what he looked like to me, especially when you see his shadow form with his legs and stuff. I'm like, he looks very creepy. Now, let's talk about that final page in depth, though. So, he was to apparently become Meliodas, from what I'm assuming. That's the direction I'm going to take this video for now. I'm just under the impression that he wants to become him in some way. Let's take a moment to talk about how his outfit, like the exact outfit that, Estarossa donned with the darkness, is exactly like Meliodas. It looks exactly like it. If you go back and look at Meliodas' design, you will see that his outfit and all that is exactly like it, which once again represents the fact that he wants to be Meliodas, because he says, I'm the great Meliodas. So, yeah, but that is definitely a thing to mention right there, that his form is taking the shape of that, which makes me question how and why. I mean, I just wonder, is he really wanting to become him that much because he wants Elizabeth? Is that what drives him? Because, I mean, we know that there is a connection with him and Elizabeth. He's constantly trying to go after her for whatever creepy reason it is. So, I mean, either A, he got cucked by Meliodas in some way and he's very, very upset, or B, this man just, like, to be Meliodas, he needs to understand that he needs to act like Meliodas. He needs to be able to go after Elizabeth as well and win her heart. I'm assuming so. But, here's the thing, though. I need to hand it to Sarantar for a second. I was really underestimating or downplaying Sarantar as archangels. I mean, I know they were strong. It was already stated that they were like the equivalent of 2 commandments and all that. I know that. But this chapter really shows how impressive they are as fighters. Now, I know they got wrecked at the end of the chapter. You don't have to tell me that. I'm just saying it's impressive because they were able to fight Estarossa with another commandment inside of him, Galan's commandment inside of him, and they were still able to put up a fight. They were going to be able to probably take him out like it's nothing if he didn't absorb Mon's commandment on top of that. So, this does definitely prove that these archangels are very strong. Tar and Sar are definitely not weak by any means. I mean, they definitely were telling the truth when they said that they could fight 2 commandments. Just one of them alone could fight 2 commandments. That's their equivalent of their power. And so, the way they made short work of, Estarossa in this chapter when he absorbed Galan's commandment, I like seeing that. I like how they were able to back up their words. They weren't just lying and throwing, random numbers out there. They actually were able to do just that. And they even were able to put him down. And, speaking of putting him down, they opened up his chest. Like, Estarossa's chest was completely obliterated. I don't know how many of you noticed that. And it started making me scratch my head and think, like, shouldn't his hearts get destroyed? Because we know, it's been established about the demons and all that, if all their hearts get destroyed, they die. So I'm curious, with his entire, like, torso, his chest just being completely obliterated, shouldn't his hearts have been completely gone in that moment? Unless there's something else going on behind the scenes that we're unaware of. Either A, he has more hearts than a normal demon, or he doesn't work like a normal demon, or when you're absorbing a commandment, it may give you an extra boost to your hearts or whatever. I really have no idea, but I do want to point out that his hearts were obliterated, and I'm curious on exactly how he survived that. But setting that aside for now, though, anyway, Sarntar, they put up a good fight. They managed to hold him back, even with a second commandment inside of him, and then it was only when he took Imon's commandment to when they truly got destroyed and put to the ground. Now, speaking of that, we get a little bit of a power level thing for Estarossa. So Estarossa, after taking in Galan's commandment, he became around like an 88,000, I think, 88,000 power level. And from what we know, Assault for Meliodas, I think, was around 140k. I believe that's where Meliodas was at with his level of strength. And we know Escanor, he fought Meliodas in that form, and he won against him, put up a really good fight, and then eventually overpowered him when he became the one. So, if we're looking at the numbers and stuff, at this time, Estarossa still isn't strong enough probably to fight someone like Escanor or Meliodas or Zeldris, most likely. So that does prove that he still needs a lot more commandments to even put up somewhat of a fight. And so if he was to go up against Escanor still, he'd probably still get completely wrecked. The only thing that, is bad about Escanor right now is he is coughing up blood. So that is something that we need to, think about. But getting back into it, though, this also reestablishes something about Mel. And I know I've been saying it. I know I'm like a broken record at this point, but it reestablishes the fact that there is just no way that Estarossa was capable of taking down Mel. Because if he is at an 88k power level right now, and he was he was kind of still struggling a bit to take out the two commandments, and then he had to absorb another one to boost his power above that, we could probably say his power level's over 100k easy. I would say probably, safe bet, probably 120. I would assume 120, 115. I would assume it's probably somewhere around in that level of strength. Maybe a little bit higher, I have no idea. But I mean, the thing is with his boost in strength, it took 3 commandments to be able to take out archangels. Okay? 3. That was, all of it, his power included. So, there's just no way. If Escanor is a representation of what Mel was, and Mel was obviously stronger than Escanor because of his base body being a goddess, then how in the hell did he lose? No, that's something shady. Shade. There's a lot of shade going on right now, because, even with an 88k boost in power, that is nowhere near the one Escanor, or even the Escanor that was fighting Meliodas in Assault form. Now, that's not even talking about Meliodas' Assault form, how strong he is. So, just like, I don't understand it. Mel was definitely someone way above the average goddess. Like, oh my god, his level of strength, because of just this chapter alone. It really puts in perspective why Escanor was able to do what he did throughout this series now, because of his connection to the Goddess Clan. But anyways, there was a lot of showcasing that Estarossa, his darkness has definitely got increased in power. Number one, he was able to stop Tar and Sar from using their abilities. Like, he was able to stop one of them from actually using their water, where they could turn into water and, get away. But because of the darkness that was encasing him, Estarossa locked him up where he couldn't do anything. So that right there is pretty scary. His darkness has obviously gotten a lot stronger. And then he also is able to overpower the other one and go through his wind like it was nothing. I mean, he was getting eviscerated, like his body was taking damage and stuff, but I mean, he was able to go through it and grab him, and apparently from what was stated from the, the dialogue, is that all of his bones were broken like that. So his strength was unreal in that one moment. And when you apply what he just did, now he just got another commandment, then yeah, pretty much now it's all downhill for them. Now, we do need to factor in that they are two archangels. If we go by what has been established, it's been stated that, one archangel can fight two commandments. So, if you add in both of these, archangels, then that would mean that they should be able to fight four, commandments. That's what they should, if we're going by what was stated. And it's already been pretty accurate when it comes to the scaling of power. I mean, Tar Sar obliterated Estarossa like it was nothing until he absorbed Mon's commandment. So, if we're going by this logic, then that would mean that they still somewhat have a chance. The only problem is that they are on the receiving end. They're on the losing side right now. Because right now, Estarossa, he has the advantage. If they are fighting by themselves, he is going to win. Like, if he was to only fight, let's say, Tar by himself or Sar by himself, then they're going to lose against Estarossa. But since they're both together and they're the equivalent of 4, and Estarossa only has 3, that's counting him, that would mean that he's not above them completely. So if they work together, they should be able to stand up and fight him. But they got to have teamwork and coordination to be able to fight him. But here's the thing, too. We're also forgetting about the fact that Elizabeth is a big contender for this fight. Because it's been stated and shown already that Elizabeth's strength is not low. She's got some insane strength. Look what she summoned in the previous chapter. She summoned this big well thing. So, Elizabeth, she's definitely going to be someone that's going to be helpful in this fight. I definitely see her healing up Sar and Tar, getting them back up on their feet for they can fight, and probably helping out, because right now, they're going to need it. With him getting that power up, oh yeah. Speaking of power-ups, though, I do wonder if this setup with Tar and Sar, if they do die, I wonder if this is set up for maybe someone like Escanor to absorb their blessings. That is something I'm kind of curious about as well. Because, I mean, remember, Escanor has sunshine, and we do know that regular humans can't absorb, like, blessings and stuff. It would destroy them. But even then, though, Escanor has obviously shown that he's very different. And it's probably destroying his body. But regardless if it's destroying his body or not, there might be some setup here to where Escanor might absorb the other blessings from the goddesses to be able to put up a fight against, the Demon Clan or Estarossa, which would be very cool if that is the thing to happen. I'd think that'd be epic. And that definitely seems like something Escanor would do, because of his pride and all that, absorbing the blessings to be able to fight. I could definitely see him doing that. Now, one last thing to talk about before I end this chapter review. Let's talk about the stuff with Derriere and Elizabeth. So, Derriere has a little bit of closure to Mon, for the most part. I mean, she doesn't get it, like, completely closed off, like, where she can finally move on. But she basically gets a hint by Elizabeth to what Mon was really thinking, or what he felt towards, Derriere the entire time. And she starts to realize that the feelings that Elizabeth has for Meliodas, and what Meliodas is doing for her, is exactly what Mon did. And so, she's starting to realize that connection, and she will realize that Mon, in fact, did love her quite a bit. And that's kind of like the start of her character development, her getting closure with whatever happened to Mon, with him dying to Estarossa. So that is a really important scene, and I really do hope Derriere continues to develop and becomes very important in this upcoming fight. Because, I mean, she does have a commandment, so if Estarossa gets a hold of that, that's not good. So, I mean, we'll see where it's going to go, where Nakaba-sensei wants to take us when it comes to the story of Taizai. But right now, I'm really liking the stuff with Estarossa. He's definitely fascinating right now because of his whole character dynamic. I wonder where he's going to go next. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. Chibi out.